Welcome back to HeroQuest Fans. I'm your host, Kurgan, here on twitch.tv/HeroQuestFans, where we are live. We are not live on YouTube, but thanks for checking us out if you're checking us out on the replay. So as usual, anyone hearing us live who wants to play as a hero, feel free to join our Discord on the link at the bottom of the screen there. Introduce yourself, we'll get you running. All you need is pencil and paper. Even if you've never played HeroQuest before, we'll get you running. We have virtual dice we roll thanks to Ribby's mentor bot, linked up with dddice.com. It's great stuff. And speaking of Ribby, he is at the GenCon convention in Indianapolis, Indiana right now, and we're jealous that he gets to see all the goings on at Avalon Hill and elsewhere at the convention center. So my understanding is it is the best 4 days of gaming, so they say. And that goes on until Sunday, which is August 2nd. So unfortunately, I couldn't be there this year. I thought about going. It was a tough decision, but I had stuff going on. It just wasn't in the cards. It wasn't going to work out. So I understand a lot of people were asking about me, and I appreciate the love, the respect. But the people we have there should be able to cover everything that's going on. So Ribby, of course. Shout out to Ribby. Check him out on Bourbon and Board Games on YouTube. He's the creator of The Remarkable Rims and also MentorBot and a lot of other cool things. He's got a great channel there on YouTube. Check it out. So I understand he's been talking to Doug Hopkins. And as usual, Doug plays his games with us. He won't tell us all the secrets we want to hear, but maybe some tidbits will be coming out from him. There was an exclusive quest, and I'm not going to spoil it here. I've spoiled it elsewhere, that Ribby posted about. A special quest we'd never seen before. Although I have a strong suspicion that this was the same one that was played at the UK Gaming Expo, but surprisingly, nobody coming back from that convention openly talked about it. Nobody really revealed anything about it. So I guess great job keeping those spoilers intact. But the quest is called The Return of the Witch Queen, and it's actually written by Teo Sabadia, who was the writer of the Spirit Queen's Torment, which was featured in the Mythic tier and then released in retail later on. So Teo Sabadia. So some people are going to hear that and kind of groan because they don't like him, they don't like his style. But nevertheless, he wrote a quest, and they've been running it at GenCon. And Ribby took some screenshots and sent it to us, so we've got the full quest. It does tie into Wizards of Morcar, and apparently also Return of the Witch Lord, sort of, maybe. And it has scalable difficulty, so if you want to play it when you've got less time, like let's say at a convention you got to wrap things up, you can kind of make it easier to finish up. Everybody has a good experience. Or if you want to make it more challenging, you can easily do so. So, and it looks like it's designed, it could be like a first quest as well. If people are just starting out with basic heroes, which often happens at a convention. And I understand Ribby got to do some Zargoning. We'd love to hear, of course, his perspective, but I think he's going to be busy this weekend. So, we thought about doing a stream with him, but it was just too late, and I was tired, honestly. And I'm sure he's tired too. But, with that said, while we're waiting for our heroes tonight, we've got one. Hey, Glasgow.
Hey, how you doing, buddy? All right?
Yeah, doing well. Even though I'm not at the convention.
Oh, I know, it must be sad.
Yeah. I understand Ribby was wearing the HeroQuest Fans t-shirt, though. So, yeah. And
I did actually cost travelling to Gen Con. I would like to do it 1 year, but
sure.
I costed it out, and it's like crazy, you know?
Yeah.
I'd have to fly to New York, then Indianapolis, and hotels at that time of year when the convention on, and then coming back, and yeah, it's just it's a big investment.
Yeah, it'd be like me coming to the UK Gaming Expo to hang out with you. So.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll do it 1 year. Maybe piggyback it onto like a holiday or something.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Yeah, a lot of the people are there. So Big Spender's there. I know Amalgam Ash couldn't be there. He famously made a video on his AshQuest YouTube channel. Shout out to him too, talking about various things. Angus McBain is there, aka Joe Kozier. I'm not sure if Rob Champ is going this year, but I hope if he did that he has a good time. And Inspector Retro, I'm trying to think of some of the other people that we've met or hung out with. It's been a good time. Yeah, it's just fun meeting up with other fans, hanging out. But not a lot of revelations about HeroQuest at this convention. So I can show some pictures that I borrowed from.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Talking about meeting up with fellow fans, one thing that I think is true is you've often got a lot more in common with people across the world that share the same interests as you than you do with your next door neighbour.
Yeah, sometimes very true.
What are your thoughts about this quest that they're like putting out on, like not to spoil, but do you think this is like an indication of what's in store for the future? What do you think about that?
Are you asking me or Glasgow, or just kind of open it up?
Both of you, whoever has an opinion on that, I'd love to hear what y'all think about.
Glasgow, what do you think? Have you seen it, or are you keeping yourself spoiler free?
I've seen it. Yeah, I like it. I like what they're doing. I like how they've taken some loose threads from the past, and they're giving us little hints, but not giving anything away, really.
Do you think this is like an indication of what they're working on for maybe like a next expansion or something like that? I would love to see a new quest pack.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty certain we're getting another quest pack, at least one more. And yeah, I think this one's got a hint, but it's not giving it away. I'm sure when the next one comes out, we'll see the connection then. But until then, who knows?
Fair enough. Sorry for interjecting. I was really curious about what y'all thought.
Oh yeah, introduce yourself if you want. I've seen you around.
Oh yeah. Hi, my name is Indy. I love HeroQuest, and this is literally the first time that I'm able to talk with HeroQuest fellow people. Well, other than on the Amalgam Ash Discord, but this is like the first time that I'm actually able to talk with fellow HeroQuest fans live. So,
right.
I'm really excited. I know that I said that I was gonna be at work, but I said, screw it. I usually never have a chance to talk with anyone. So,
well, what was I gonna say? The Amalgam Archive. That's Amalgam Ash's Discord. So he doesn't have a live chat, or is it just for when he's?
No, we talk. It's just more of a actually voice chat. I don't ever see that happening. I know Ash is extremely busy, so I'm not gonna bother him with that.
Yeah. You hear that, Ash? You need more voice chat.
It would be great, though. It would be really nice. I do hit him up on the live chats, like live videos that he does sometimes on Sundays. But it would be nice to have some more voice chat, Ash.
Yeah. Well, every streamer, every content creator, influencer, whatever you want to call these, what we do, has their own style. I know he's got the, he does that live chat stream on YouTube, and then he'll comment on what people say as he's doing some task or playing some game or designing something. So, yeah. I know that when we wanted to do collaborative stuff with him, it was really tough because his schedule was like the complete opposite of ours. So yeah, that happens sometimes. Just like how I'd always wanted to do something with Always Bored Never Boring, but he's in the UK, and
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he has a smaller Discord community, but his YouTube is way bigger than ours. And you know, he has his own kind of community. Everybody kind of does their own thing. But yeah, I'm happy that, you know, we get that cross pollination. Sometimes people jump back and forth. It's not like not a real competition.
Yeah, I mean the community already is like very spread apart, so having you know the community to join together every now and then, it would always be nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and welcome. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna welcome some new people to the chat. Andre5214 and Tricia Noob on Twitch. And the pictures we're showing were taken by Ribby at GenCon. He's there, we're not. So yeah, go ahead. You were saying?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, am I able to play with y'all? I got my character sheet right here.
Sure. Oh, and Jacer's here too. Yeah, if you want to, we're happy to have you. Like I said, yes. Don't get fired, but
Nah, it's a slow day anyways.
Okay. Well, the nice thing about what we do is people can drop in, drop out fairly easily. So if you gotta go, no problem. No excuses necessary. We've got character sheets. Actually, I'm gonna ask a question of our veteran players here. So Glasgow's here, Jacer's here. Do you guys want to do what we were doing before, or do you want to play the GenCon quest? Just throw that out there.
Ooh, that's intriguing. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
It might mess around with the storyline just a little bit, but we can kind of just ignore that for the sake of fun, if you're so inclined.
The purist in me was expecting just to have another shot at that very ostensibly difficult quest we tried last time, but now you've come from left field with that great idea.
Got him. All right. Well. What about you, Jacer? What do you think? He's still in pursuit. He's like screaming at the radio.
Not to be a killjoy, Kurgan, but you might in time want to do that ahead of whatever the next campaign is.
What do you mean? Oh,
like it might turn out the GenCon quest is a prequel of sorts to whatever the next campaign is.
Well, it would just be
or
sort
next
of
expansion is
a vision of things to come. Yeah, I never gave my opinion on that. So I looked at it and I thought it has clear ties to Wizards of Morcar. It has, well, there have been some ties to so First Light. Okay, well, you're going to see First Light had some, let's say, some name dropping of characters from Return of the Witch Lord. You could take that as a hint that, oh, you're supposed to play it in the specific order, like that. Of course, you can always just say, oh yeah, that, you know, you can come up with some convoluted reason why it all makes sense. But I felt like this one was vague enough that it could be something that happens right afterwards, could be like a side quest, or it could be, yeah, the introduction to something else. I actually have no problem whatsoever if they were to, and I even suggested this, instead of just, I mean, of course I would love for them to just release new expansions, you know, forever, right, and always keep them stocked. But at the same time, if things are slowing down at all, they could just promote the products they already have. Like, just make more bridge quests, make more side quests, make more, I don't know, inspirational little things to keep people going.
Like White Dwarf, like how they used to do back in the 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be cool.
We want you to keep buying, you know, whatever. So it's like, yeah, you've got Jungles of Delthrak. Here's like some bonus content that kind of goes along with that theme, or here's some Return of the Witch Lord stuff that you could sprinkle in to your adventure. I mean, because HeroQuest is the type of game where you can just do it all yourself. You don't actually need the company to put out new content. But nothing wrong with throwing out some ideas that then people can develop into their own stuff very easily if they're just having writer's block, so to speak.
People were talking on the Amalgam Archive Discord. They were talking about like what were the chances of getting a advanced Hero Quest light um, kind of remake and stuff, since Avalon Hill has been, licensing things like Talisman and things like that, which is like Games Workshop stuff.
100%.
What are your thoughts on that? I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why they couldn't do that. I think it's, as with so many other things, it's just a matter of money and time. If they think that this is going to make money, and all the licensing and deals and all that stuff that they have to do is in royalties is worth it for the money they could get from selling the product and then increasing the brand's strength, whatever, visibility, they'll do it. I talked once with Kristen Carmine about this, and he was just sort of sharing his perspective about how so many of these games were made, 30, 40, 50 years ago now, and a lot of them, maybe back then people didn't pay as much attention to the rights issues, and copyright laws have changed somewhat, trademark laws and everything, patent laws, and so some of the games, like, they've been sort of tied up in legal limbo for a while. Or characters or specific designs. I mean, you can't copyright rules apparently, but you can copyright everything else. And so, yeah, the question of who owns what is a big deal, like in the legal field. So some of it may seem obvious to us fans, like, oh yeah, just release it. Everybody wants it. Everybody's asking for it. It'd be so easy to do. Like, I'll do it for you right now as a fan. Like, I'll just put it together and there, done. But to get these big corporations to move on it, it can't just be this will make money. It's also, yeah, who do we got to talk to? Who needs to sign off on this? Where do we need to track down the files? Who owns what? So when you get the box, it's going to have, it might have like 20 different logos on it because all these different companies have a piece of it. And I suppose there's the question of do you buy out everyone's share to get the thing so that you can have it, and is that worth it to you, or do you pay whatever it is to each group to make it happen, and is that worth your while? Now, you mentioned the Games Workshop thing. That's a very good point, because Talisman is 100% Games Workshop, and that has been a reason that a lot of people have given for why we will never ever see Space Crusade or Advanced HeroQuest remade, because that belongs to Games Workshop, and Games Workshop doesn't want to release it. Well, how do they know that? And Talisman is 100% Games Workshop, and yet, there it is. Avalon Hill is the one putting it out and selling it. They sat down, they worked with them, everything had their blessing. Games Workshop gets theirs, Avalon Hill, Hasbro gets theirs, and the fan community gets to enjoy the game, and they're still releasing content for it. I've been posting these pictures here. It feels bad, man. Space Crusade. Hey, Franco Baldo. Yeah, so I would not say never, but never say never. It's my thing. No one's told me on the inside, hey, this is going to happen. I think that there's reasons why these things might not happen, but there's also plenty of good reasons why it could happen. Advanced HeroQuest, the way I understand it, is much more like a toolbox. It's much more like a sandbox. It has a whole bunch of rules that you can easily apply across the board. What it's supposed to do is it's supposed to convince you to look at the Citadel catalog and just buy random miniatures from Games Workshop and incorporate them into the game. Like, they give you a bunch of sample rules for, oh yeah, if you use this character, he could be like this. If you use this character, he could be like this. And you've got your modular dungeon, so you can play it as a solo game, but it also gives you rules where it's like, oh, you've got the Milton Bradley HeroQuest. Well, guess what? Here's a whole bunch of rules for using the furniture, for using the board, for using the characters that are in that box. So it's kind of like a cross between the two things. And yet it also expects you to use mostly cardboard figures. Like, you're strongly encouraged to buy other sets to make your set feel complete, because otherwise you've just got the Skaven, you've got the mercenaries. I don't even think you get the heroes initially. Although if you buy a set today, it's going to have the heroes and everything in it. But you're supposed to like buy these other sets, put them together. You've got to assemble the miniatures. You got to paint them, glue. I mean, the original HeroQuest, it was all snapped together. There was no glue necessary. Most of the models were just one piece. I mean, the gargoyle had 3 pieces. But otherwise, yeah, you punch out the cardboard for the furniture and you put those into the plastic sprues. But there wasn't a ton of that kind of work. Like, a 12-year-old could do it. A 10-year-old could do it. Advanced HeroQuest, they're thinking, okay, maybe you're a little bit older. You're sort of getting into the hobby of painting and, you know, cutting the stuff out of the sprues and gluing it all together. And then you've got those RPG style rules, which are much more freeform. It kind of could transition into either Warhammer Fantasy Battle or Warhammer Fantasy RPG very easily. Now, the other argument for why Advanced HeroQuest would never happen is, well, Games Workshop already has Warhammer Quest. Like, that's already a big deal. Like, any Warhammer store, any FLGS you go in, it's like $250, whatever version of Warhammer Quest you've got. And yet, the response to that is, you've got places like Barnes & Noble that every year sell Warhammer Quest, and it's just some starter kit that has like maybe like 10 miniatures in the box. Modular dungeon, meant for a quick adventure, or maybe it's just got one like battle mat type thing and you just play. And it's like, those come out all the time. And most of the people that buy them, it seems like, are just people who are trying to expand their armies. So they buy the set, they sell the cardboard, they keep the miniatures, and they put it into their Age of Sigmar army or whatever. But so if something like that can exist side by side with the quote-unquote real Warhammer Quest, why wouldn't Games Workshop, if they saw the money, just say, sure, here's a nostalgic Advanced HeroQuest-like game, and let Avalon Hill continue that relationship? Like, oh, there's HeroQuest and there's Advanced HeroQuest. Just like we speculated, well, what if they did a crossover that still hasn't happened yet? What if they did a crossover with HeroScape? They could easily release a HeroScape battle box that has HeroQuest type characters in it to cross-promote both games. Why not do that? Or why not do another Battle Masters? Like, all these things are possible. The question is, yeah, how are they going to market it? How are they going to license it? How are they going to justify it? But yeah, if you ask us fans, it seems like a no-brainer. Bring back all the stuff. I mean, why do the research and development for something totally new when you can just release the old thing? Now, the issue that we've had with Hasbro's modern HeroQuest is that they've had to redo all the designs because they can't just copy and paste the old designs that they had that maybe Games Workshop doesn't want them to use, besides just modernizing the style. So the idea there is, no matter what, you're going to have to do a whole bunch of work redesigning everything. You can't expect people to go on eBay and dig up those old miniatures to make the set complete. And maybe tastes have changed. Maybe the old box just didn't have enough in it. So maybe Advanced HeroQuest would have to be more expensive to include like everything. But I could easily see the other argument of an Advanced HeroQuest remake of just being like an expansion, like an adventure design kit. It would be targeted at people who already own HeroQuest, the modern HeroQuest, as a box of extras that they could use to expand their game into an RPG, as a bridge into other miniature games, other collecting, other hobbying. Now, who benefits from something like that? Obviously Games Workshop would, because people would start thinking about them, their name, you know, if they aren't already into that hobby. They'd start thinking about, you know, the old world and Age of Sigmar and all that stuff. But Hasbro would benefit too, because the HeroQuest name is still out there. People are playing HeroQuest. People are talking about HeroQuest. People are buying other HeroQuest products, looking for other HeroQuest products. So it would cross-promote, just like the old HeroQuest did. I mean, you had people who got into Warhammer because of HeroQuest, but you also had people who continued to buy Milton Bradley games because that's the name that they associate with gaming, with board games. So that's kind of my take on it. Long-winded take. And then we've got
No.
Talisman. So Talisman continues to expand. So that it wasn't just a one-off. It wasn't just a one-shot deal. So we've got this Fury of Dracula expansion. We've got this Toad that everybody wants as a giveaway. And we've got the Dread Shifters, of course. I think this was all at the UK Games Expo, but Glasgow, maybe you remember, or Jacer, was Fury of Dracula revealed already, or is this brand new?
That was revealed already.
Okay. And this Avalon Hill games are built on the skill, research, and artistry of talented human creators. Okay. I already have like an editorial comment. Talented human creators like Clark Mitchell? Is that what you're trying to say? We require all artists, illustrators, cartographers, writers, and designers contributing to Avalon Hill products to refrain from using AI generative tools to produce final game art, components, or published visual materials. So this was like when I was grilling Patrick about this 2 GenCons ago. I almost said 2 Christmases ago. Like an Avalon Hill Tale carol. Yeah, so the argument for the First Light box was that this really looks like AI. And when we found out it was Clark Mitchell, okay, maybe he's not AI, but he's a guy who uses a lot of similar techniques, a lot of Photoshop, copy and paste, repurposing of images, really borderline stuff. And I think we've covered it in the Rantcast podcast as well. Rantcast. Where we talked about how, I mean, Wizards of the Coast has been caught multiple times using AI in their finished products. But what they've revealed to us, and I think even Patrick was able to admit, is like they all use AI, like in the drafting process when they're coming up with mock-ups and sketches. But I mean, it's a human temptation, you know. Deadlines are coming up. These are not Patrick's words. This is my filling in the blanks. Yeah, deadlines are coming up. Goes through a bunch of editors. People miss stuff. You know, it's like the kid turning in their homework, and it's like, wait a minute, I can see the answer key right there. You just copied it. Like they forgot to smooth it over. So, I don't know. It's kind of a weird question. It's like, if you did something completely in AI, 100% AI, and then you just traced it at the end, like, is it now a human creation? Because technically you were the one that did that at the end. I don't know. So the question of how much of
that's so close to fan art, though. You know what I mean? Like when you're like copying your favorite comic book, you know, you got your comic book open, you got your sketch pad, you know, you're doing a one-on-one. It might not be exactly the same, but it's basically fan art at that point.
Fan art.
But it's off of the AI.
Well, I could see a fine distinction here, Jacer, and one that I would agree with. So if you're an artist painting or sketching, let's say you've got a model, like somebody walks in and like, okay, draw me, like, and you're looking at them and you're drawing. This is your interpretation of what your eyes are seeing, right? Or it could be a bowl of fruit or whatever it is. You may be looking at the Mona Lisa and you're painting your own painting. You're not copy and pasting directly, but you're being inspired by it. And so if the AI creates something out of nothing, I mean, out of prompts, right? Instead of purely out of your imagination, and then you're transposing it, I don't see a problem with that. But I think it's like if you just, so I remember, if anybody remembers the artist Thomas Kincaid, he's since passed away, but Thomas Kincaid was really, really popular for a while. You go into any doctor's office, dentist's office, hotel, you would find Thomas Kincaid paintings everywhere. And there was some controversy because I remember hearing about this, like they would always say, oh, this is an original Thomas Kincaid painting. But the thing is, one guy couldn't possibly keep up with the demand for his paintings. So allegedly, they would have other people basically just copying, like almost like a paint by numbers kind of thing. And at the very end, he would just like put like one paint stroke on it to say that like, there, I did it. And it was like, is this really
original and it's slightly different than anything else?
Yeah, it's completely original, and technically he did his paint is actually on there, but like the amount of work he actually did on each one, other than okay, he did the original painting that everyone else is copying. It's like, At one
So
point,
it's one step up above him just signing his name.
right, yeah. Tom Clancy's Rainbow 6-7 or whatever. It's like, okay, the guy isn't even alive anymore. He didn't make this game. Like he had nothing to do with it, except, yeah, you just have
I
his.
mean, I have a lot of thoughts about that. I mean, I am an
Yeah.
animator by trade. It is literally my profession,
Oh wow.
and it has devastated the animation and art industry in general. And it's not like it's taking jobs literally, it's just transforming the job into something that it's no longer animation or art making. They literally transformed us all. If we want to quote unquote keep up with the market and whatnot, it transforms you into like a prompt maker, which literally is not not art. It's an artifice basically. And anything that sells, I actively try to sell you the idea that you can sell this art, even though you didn't do anything about it, even if it's trace. I don't think tracing AI art can be considered art, because in the end, what is the point of doing that if it's not your own vision? It's just what the AI did for you.
Right.
It's very messy in that regard.
Wow. Well, I suppose you could even the tracing itself. Why does that have to be a human doing it? A computer could do that as well. but you're just you're doing the tracing so that you can be Thomas Kincaid and say, well, I technically put the last brushstroke. So
yeah, no.
brushstroke is
At that
really
point,
nice.
just let the machine do the whole thing. At that point, right?
Yeah.
I was just saying, what's the point of comic books at that point? If you got your artist that does your art, and all right, well, I did the inking and I did the coloring, and I'm the one that lettered all the words. You know what I mean? Versus It could just be one guy to draw it and then say, hey, go send the AI to do the rest.
It's kind of like
it won't look as good and it won't look as defined, and they maybe can't collaborate. Like, hey, they're supposed to be feathers, and you made it look like veins or something else, and or a scale and not a feather. You know what I mean? Where they're like, no, you got to change that. Versus like the AI, it's just, all right, new prompt, start again.
Yeah, but it will not look the same because AI doesn't know what you need. It just predicts stuff, right? It doesn't. If you want to make a change, it's not like how you used to be like an artist. You'd be like, oh, just change it, right? But no, an AI is like, redo the whole prompt again.
And it kind of seems like you throw away 100 of them to get one good copy.
Well, that's true. Well, this argument, this debate has been going on in the world of all the arts for a long time. I mean, you have, like in comedy, there's the whole question of joke stealing. You didn't write that joke, you copied it from somebody else. In singing, in entertainment, it's like lip syncing. People lip syncing their own songs or other people's songs. People remember Milli Vanilli back in the day. With writing, you get ghost writers. It's like I'm just sitting here and I have an artist and I tell the artist, hey, look, I want you to draw a Chaos Warrior and put flames behind him. Like, okay, yeah, that's good. I mean, George Lucas did this with the prequel Star Wars movies. It's like he would say, okay, this is what I want. The artist would come up with like 10 different ideas. He'd pick the one he wanted, and then it's like, okay, now that's a George Lucas creation. It's like, well, okay, because he doesn't have time to like build the model himself, But in this case, at least with the lip syncing, with the ghostwriters, with the designers, whatever it is, it's still a person. It's like, okay,
yeah, it's still human. It's still human by nature, right?
I want to hear who was really singing for Milli Vanilli. I want to see who was really drawing that creature that George Lucas took credit for. Whatever it is.
I think music did go a little bit on the too far with the sampling.
Yeah,
and I get it. I get that it's your mix. But to me, like, that was more like when you're somewhere live and you got a DJ mixing different stuff. Like, I understand it, and he can pick anything he wants. It's usually
freestyling.
It has a couple things set up, ready to go. but I get it. On, like I said, for live, but then like if you're just doing everything and it's sampled out and then you're selling it, I don't know. I couldn't see the point in it. You know, if something is just so oversaturated with other people's work, it's a collage at that point. It's a musical collage, but I can't see getting, you know, they probably got to pay somebody somewhere anyway, but the same thing, if you take, I took this from this guy and this from this guy and this from this guy, and I made a painting out of it, like you still kind of got to give all of them credit. And if it's just an AI stealing a bunch of people's work, who do you give the credit to?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, you don't even know what the source is, right?
Yeah, at least with Andy Warhol, it's like, okay, he's obviously taking a photograph of Marilyn Monroe and putting his own colors on it, or he's taking, the Campbell soup and he's drawing it. It's like, okay, we know where that came from. He's just framing it in a different way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose with AI, it has a lot to recommend it. I mean, every corporation is pushing it. Nobody wants to be left behind. Everybody's competing. Like, okay, we got to out AI the other guy, or we'll be left behind. All the standard caveats, like, okay, they can fire more people. They can do things more cheaply. For people who have no money, like us, it's very, very tempting. Because it's like, oh, I could just make a movie. I could just make a video game. I could just, like, put a whole bunch of art almost for nothing. But when you're asking me to pay for it, I feel like this is fake. This is cheap. I don't want it. Like, I don't want to pay a company for it. I just want it for free for me. But only because I can't afford to hire an artist or take the art classes to become that. And so it's like, this is like a cheap alternative. But yeah, why not just pay for the real thing?
Or at least give credit. Like, you know what I mean? If the AI learned off of whatever sample set or whatever, like, that should be paid for at some point by the AI company, whether they pass that on or not, or try to do some, hook you on it and say, all right, good. You did 10. Now you got to pay for it. Whatever their model is, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to make money in the end.
Well,
or they're going to have a professional one or whatever, all right, you can do as much as you want versus, all right, you got the trial. Yeah, you got the trial or the free one, or you got ads to watch or whatever it is that they need to do to make money. I get that, but credit the source, at some point.
Yeah. We're not going to be able to resolve it ourselves right now, but yeah, I think Sora videos, when they were still around, it was like they had a rule that you couldn't use live celebrities, but you could use dead celebrities. So you couldn't do Ric Flair like jumping around and wooing, but you could do Hulk Hogan when he passed away. Or you could do Macho Man. It's like, okay, is that really right, or is that just arbitrary?
That's not that doesn't paint a good picture of the future, man.
No. As soon as you die, they're gonna scoop you up and throw your image on there. If you're in any way famous. Yeah, because anybody can be famous now. You can be an influencer. I mean, am I famous? I don't know. To 1,000 people, apparently I am. So, yeah. It's a little scary. So, I guess Avalon Hill, you put out a good message here. That sounds really, really good. But just like when a politician says something that sounds really, really good, you still are like, there's a lot of skepticism. Like, okay, but really, how much is this really gonna do anything, or is this just to keep us from complaining for a little while?
Right, but like you said, at the end of the day, somebody's gotta check it at the end and actually make sure that a human did it, so it's keeping one more job somewhere.
Right.
Even if AI does everything and the last guy just gotta trace it and color it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no...
It is what it is.
There's no, like...
At least they're not trying to... They are hiding it under a bunch of words, but if you read it, it is there. They are telling you
they've got all this
that,
stuff.
Their final product won't have AI.
Sorry,
but,
Jason.
Right, it can be used up to and throughout the whole thing.
Sorry, Jason. I was dipping into my rant cast voice there, trying to talk over you. Sorry, I was getting too excited. One way they could do it, and I guess I can never see this happening because of the world of trade secrets and corporate secrecy and all that stuff, is if they had a committee of fans. I mean, they'd have to be totally independent. So there couldn't be any, notion that they were being bribed in any way, which would be really hard to maintain. But you could have fans, and they would have to like monitor it, like every step of the way. Like, okay, I can see, Patrick is drawing the thing or whatever. Here's Doug doing the lettering. Here's, Levi Combs. He's putting on it. Here's Joe Manganiello's doing the, putting the pieces together. Okay, all right. Well, it's not AI. Like, I can see Clark Mitchell. He's clearly just using Photoshop. He's not using any AI tools. Not even, when I wasn't looking. It's like that's really the only way you could provide that transparency, because yeah, otherwise people are just going to look at it and go, gee, that really looks like you just generated it through prompts. And they're going to go, no, we didn't. Like, okay, so which one is it?
Right. Yeah, I've had people.
Way.
Yeah, it's really, sometimes it's really hard to prove if somebody used AI or not. Usually you just go into their art accounts and whatnot and see like, oh, this person suspiciously like changed their art style, and their art style is not consistent with all of their previous work. And it started happening back like when AI started being big, getting big and whatnot. It's a lot of sleuthing that you have to do that we shouldn't really have to be doing.
Yeah, it's kind of like plagiarism. Like,
yeah,
you start to suspect everything, and so even when it's not, people are still going to question whether it is. And I mean, with HeroQuest, you had the First Light cover was so scrutinized and was bringing so much negativity that they said, okay, desperate panic move, we're going to pay a different artist to just redo it so that nobody complains anymore.
Yeah, at that point, yeah, you couldn't fix it. Even if they went and readjusted the rivets and made sure everybody had 5 fingers, it still would have been like,
yeah,
it was still AI.
Well, and they did it. Whatever it was, yeah. I mean, I could see the argument for them copying and pasting, but yeah, I'm with the people that say it was AI. But even best case scenario was just a collage of Photoshop stuff from their art that they put together. It's still like they were doing this to save time, to make it cheaper and faster, and it backfired. It caused them more money and it cost them more time. So it's still a question of, but at a certain point, is somebody going to be like, oh, but the new Chat GPT or the new Sora or whatever it is so advanced that no one will detect this. Do you want to do it? And so they go, sure, of course. And they sign off. And then, yeah, again, we have the same scenario where people are going to be suspicious and questioning. And then, yeah.
Right. And at that point, maybe they should pay someone to print out your AI thing and then trace it. And if it doesn't make sense when somebody's drawing it, then find out what's wrong with it and fix it, and then you got your human person there actually doing something.
And if you're going to reverse engineer something, like you have this robot build you a castle, and then you're going to take it apart piece by piece until it's just a pile of rubble, and then you're going to take the rubble and build it into the same castle. It's like, what was the point of doing the first thing? Why not just do it yourself? I don't know.
Well, not to mention that you're lacking the fundamentals and you don't understand when AI is hallucinating or not. That's what what differentiates like someone with actual artistic expertise and somebody who's just prompting stuff. They just don't know what is correct and what isn't, other than the obvious like 6 fingers and whatnot.
Yeah, or you ask for one character and they give you 2 characters.
Well, and the same thing where you could get to the point where it's almost plagiarism, but not, and like it would be the set that the AI is trained on. So if they wanted to train an AI to make, a campaign for HeroQuest, and then they go into all the quests that were already made, and then go through, HeroQuest Builder, and go through all of that stuff, then you're going to start seeing fan work, which is what they were trying not to do by not having people tell Doug what to put in the next quest pack. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that it was original and not stolen. And if you have an AI doing it, how do you know, what they stole from? And then you'll have a mosh posh of different things. And you're like, wait, that character died, or
Yeah. Well,
why are they in here, and how does it deal with this?
HeroQuest.
There'd be like
is kind of immune to some of that because it's so loose. You could say, well, the Witch Lord, we clearly killed him. Like, no, he's back again. Like, okay, fine. Somehow the Witch Lord returned. Fine. But yeah, you're right. With any type of lore, yeah, the hallucinations are going to be like, okay, so this is a what if story where Superman wasn't born on Krypton, he was born somewhere else. Like, okay, so that's what we have to just imagine, suspend disbelief. But in reality, it's just because the AI screwed up. It got confused.
Right, or pulls assets from different expansions, but doesn't have all the rule sets in the quest book. You know what I mean?
It doesn't have the ability to understand the logic behind it. It just, is grabbing something.
Especially if it tries to coincide the wrong 2 quest books. It's like, oh no, you hit 0. All right, you're in shock. No, you're dead.
Yep. Well, yeah, it is. HeroQuest is a funny thing when asking AI about it. It has a really, really hard time showing the actual HeroQuest board. Like, it tries to make it into something else, and the storyline, like, it doesn't understand like stuff that we obsess over and that we know. Like, it said, I asked it one time, like, what's the hardest quest and what's the easiest quest? And it said the hardest quest was the rescue of Sir Ragnar, and the easiest quest was the trial. And I'm like,
yeah, that's backwards.
That's like, okay, we're safe for a little while longer.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Try playing chess against an AI. You'll have a great time.
Really?
By about move 6 or 7, it's making illegal moves.
Yeah, it cheats a lot. It randomly just says, "Oh, the queen just regenerated another queen, and it killed you. Checkmate." And I'm like, "Oh my god."
That's funny. And I suppose it would say, "No, according to the rules of chess, this is completely legal. And you're like, "No, it isn't." And it's like, "Oh, you're right.
Well,
I'm glad you pointed that out."
The queen, it does funny things with the queen, especially when it has the rules assume that the queen can make the same moves as any other piece, and next thing you know, it's making knight moves, and you're like, no, that's the only thing it can't do.
That's hilarious. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, but
and it's
something like that.
It's a simplified rule set. You know, it can go diagonally, so it's all right.
Yeah.
You just
chess is so well understood. You can point all that. That's funny. I never thought of that, but now I kind of want to. I want to see it. All right, folks. Well, I suppose we should move on to the actual game. So once again, check out Bourbon and Board Games, Big Spender's Man Cave. Check out anybody else, Angus McBain, who is reporting from GenCon.